Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Kick in the teeth for the Edmonton Oilers. A little bit of a tough go, but hey, it's exhibition play, right? And how about that Winnipeg squad? Basically their entire team. Got a great podcast coming up. Looking forward to it. And as always, we're coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio. If you need a part manufactured, replicated, or repaired, Adrenaline Diesel has you covered with their brand new machine shop. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. So we wanted to get up pretty quick after this one, so we are not going to have Rob Brown tonight, but we do have Jason Strudwick, who rumor has it does a pretty mean Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation. So we might extract that from Jason Strudwick at some point in the show tonight. No promises, but I think we can probably convince Struddy. As always, our show brought to you by Play Alberta, our title sponsor. Why choose Play Alberta? Well, just ask any hockey fan who loves odds boosts, player props, same game parlays, slots players who love the massive jackpots, or lottery players who can grab last minute tickets on the go. Deposit today, get a $50 free bet with code GYB9. Visit playalberta.ca. What's going on, Struds? How we doing tonight, buddy?
Top notch, buddy. How are you?
Good, yeah, man. Steve, better question. How you doing behind the scenes there, pal? Just Steve. How we doing, bud?
That was a stressful first last 3 minutes of my life. That's for sure. Trying to get this thing live and going.
You got us up, buddy. Look at us. We're up. We're live. I think everything's working.
It's working.
Just so everybody knows, we actually implemented this whole new technical system behind the scenes. That's going to be really cool. You'll notice we got a different graphics and some new looks this year, and this new system of ours is part of that. But this is Steve's maiden voyage at the controls with the new toys, Struddy. So, you know, she might be a little bumpy. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I mean, it's a preseason for everybody, right? Not just the players and the coaches, the refs. It's media, everyone involved. So, yeah, I'm not. Now, if this is game 10 and we got problems, heads will roll. But for this one, no problem at all, Steve-O.
I appreciate your patience, boys.
Of course, pal. It's great to see you again. First pod for you this year after a great summer. JL already in trying to get play of the day, asking, does Struds have the heat lamp going tonight? So maybe a little reddish. I don't know, Struddy. What do you got? What do you got going on?
I turned it down. I got it down to a little bit cooler, the cooler color. I actually went golfing early this morning. It wasn't that hot when I was out there. So I don't think I burned. I cover up pretty good. So.
How was the round?
Terrible. 3 6s to start. And I was so gung-ho. I got there, hit balls, putt, everything. Yeah. Bang. 6 6 6. And like, oh boy, this is going to be a rough one.
Yeah.
So it was.
No recovery? What was the final score?
45. A little bit. So I got a little bit better at the end. And I played, I think three or two, maybe more holes. And I think I might have been even on those, but it doesn't really matter. The damage is done, right? It's already just like first impression, right? Just a bad first impression. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Steve just disappeared there. Bye, Steve. I know you got stuff to do, so we're not going to harass you too much on air tonight. We know you're already you're juggling apples behind the scenes, buddy.
I'm happy to be here as long as you want, but
no, it's all good, man. Yeah. Have fun with it. Good luck. Whatever happens, you know what? It's a podcast. It doesn't matter. If it tanks, doesn't matter. If it's a train wreck, doesn't matter. It's all digital stuff, whatever. We've got loyal fans. They'll come back regardless of what happens here tonight. All right, buddy. We'll check in with you in a little bit. We got to Ask Us Anything. You'll be running that a little bit later. By the way, through the show today, fire in your comments. Hit the like button for us too, please, and thank you very much. But Steve will gather some of the best comments, and we'll get to that in Ask Us Anything. But for right now, let's get to breaking down the game. And the breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Ram trucks continued to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500, a bold new powertrain, redesigned exterior, state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. Yes, the most awarded light-duty truck ever by visiting your local Ram dealer. Struds, you get sent on the road into enemy territory for an exhibition game. You're a veteran player like, say, I don't know, Brett Kulak. And you look at their lineup, they've got 10 of their top 12 scorers, 15 regulars in, and you look around your locker room and you're not seeing many familiar faces. You get the feeling they kind of just had to know what kind of night it was going to be.
You know, going in, because, it's your young team is, they don't have a lot of experience, and they're a little bit kind of all over the place, right? And it's going to be rough, and we're not going to go through all the goals, but just kind of misplays all over the place, pucks stumbling off sticks, things like that. So as a vet, your job is just to kind of, hey guys, let's just keep working, right? Keep working. Understand what we're trying to accomplish. Let's just keep going. The score doesn't really matter. So that's it, but it is hard, especially to fly to Winnipeg and back, to take that beating.
Yeah.
And knowing that within short order, many of the players on this team, that were on this team today, will probably be, reassigned to wherever they're going to be. But yeah, that's a tough one. And by my count, every vet that's healthy has played one game through the first four for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think they're easing the group. They're easing the back end.
Yeah.
And I get it. They had a long season, man. You don't play everyone all the time.
So the other night we were discussing Leon Draisaitl and his line. Why aren't they playing together yet? Asked Chris Knobloch a couple of those questions today. We'll have a little bit of clarity on that. That's going to come up in our takeaways segment as to what the plan is moving forward and how many games. So we'll get to that in our next segment. Struds, talking about this one a little bit. Let's start with Stuart Skinner. Obelisk is in right away saying, why would they put Skinner in that situation? Chris Knobloch told us today Skinner wanted this game. They were going to play Pickard, because of where he's from. But Stuart Skinner actually wanted to play in this game. So he stepped up, said this was the one he wanted. This is the one he got. 4 goals he ends up allowing. I think he stopped, where did this go? 23 of 27, I want to say. Is that right? Stuart Skinner, 23 of 27. 4 goals against. I don't know. It's his first game, so we're not going to dig too deep into it. But what did you think of Stu Skinner in exhibition play in Winnipeg?
I thought he made some good saves, especially early. But again, I don't. This is unfair, but the play in front of him was disorganized, to say the least, right? So and I know the goalie's job is to stop the puck, but there were times where there was another path or another choice to make with the puck, and it didn't go that way. And then Stuart's fighting for his life. So I think I'm guessing for Stu Skinner. He's like, I want to play where I know I'm going to get quite a few shots, and they're probably going to have a good lineup. So I give him credit. That was a harder path to choose, because I think going forward, you'll probably see Schauger, two lines of true NHL players, as opposed to maybe tonight was one line, not even one full line of full players.
Yeah, for sure. Let's hear from the head coach. We'll get to the Weiss Johnson sound box. The cold is coming, so it's time to get that garage heated up. Enjoy the luxury of a warm vehicle or heated man cave this winter. Installing a garage heater also helps if you have rooms over top the garage that are always a little cooler. Visit Weiss-Johnson.com today.
Weiss Johnson, Weiss Johnson.
Steve is on it. That was tight. Chris Knobloch on what we all know. The Jets just dress better players.
They're a much more veteran team, almost their NHL lineup, and which is a good test for our guys. A lot of the guys that we feel are ready for the NHL. And when you're in a situation like that, you find out if you're NHL ready or not. And you could tell that, I liked a lot of our guys that showed up and played a strong game. Obviously, there's some guys that you can just tell they aren't quite ready. And it's good to indicator for us.
And here he is on his goaltender.
Right, he did make a lot of big saves in the first period, and often you see a goaltender let in 4 and you're thinking he'd had a bad night, especially after 2 periods, but that wasn't the case at all. It's just the quality chances that they had.
Okay, let's talk about some of the guys that are fighting for their lives here, and I'm talking about NHL lives. So we've got a competition happening, whether it's the 4th line center or the 13th forward, whatever you want to call it. You had the likes of Hamblin, Philp, Peterson kind of in the mix, Savoy in the mix. Of the names that I'm mentioning there, we'll throw Drake Caggiula in there as well. Of the names that I'm mentioning, Struds, did anybody do themselves any favors or extra harm tonight?
I think Savoy, especially in the third, had a good game. Like, he showed some dynamic offensive flair. And I don't think there was a lot in this forward group for them to owners. And he looked good. I will qualify that by saying that I believe and I think he should start in the minors. I really feel that's where he should start. So I think you can take his name out of consideration, at least in my opinion, as a player that can play on this team. Lane Peterson, there's a lot of talk about Lane, and I think he's a serviceable guy. I see him more as a call-up than as a guy who's probably starting on the team, and that's probably not going to make his admirers happy, but that's where I see it. But Noah Philip, I kind of like what we're seeing out of him. Hasn't played a lot of hockey, in a year, but I do kind of like what we're seeing. Probably needs to get more ice time in the minors as well, but I think of those 3 guys, I think that's the guy most likely could start here, but I like his game. I think he's moving pretty well out there. I like his game so far.
Yeah, Carmen Gill all over him, says Ryan and Struddy, after watching Noah Philp in this camp, I believe he deserves a chance to start as the Oilers' 4th line center.
Yeah,
Do you guys each agree or disagree, Struds?
I disagree because he just hasn't been playing. He hasn't played for a year, right? You need to get that time. So I like people coming from the minors and coming up after feeling really good about themselves and going. We've seen the Oilers do it a different way, where you keep a guy around, he's half playing, half not playing, and I don't think that's healthy. Go down, play. There's going to be injuries. Boom, call him up, and now he gets in and he can feel good about himself. So that is how I would treat both Savoy and Philip or Noah.
Philp.
I think that's Philp. Geez, I get it. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair thing to say. And honestly, at this point, neither guy is probably going to make or break the team, right? But putting down the minors, getting their confidence, and you're not putting in time. You're not coming up November. You have no idea. Just go down and work hard, get better.
Yeah, I am right there with you. I think that is the poignant thought that needs to be remembered on Philp in this training camp. He's a big guy, skates well. He's going to stand out a little bit here, but he's going to need games, Struds. You cannot take a year off and then start as an extra in the NHL, a guy who's going to be in and out of the lineup, doing a lot of this for the first time, where there's naturally going to be some growing pains and difficulty, and maybe the coach's trust comes and goes a little bit, and they got to slow play you in your first 10 or 12 games. Noah Philp needs to play hockey games. He needs to play every night, through the mistakes, through the ups and downs. He needs to know he's in every night. He needs to make mistakes, sit a little bit, get back in, grind away. He needs all of that. So I almost think it doesn't matter necessarily how good he shows in exhibition, because we've all seen players have great exhibition seasons. I think him in the minors playing a ton of minutes is what is needed big picture, because he just hasn't played. It might not be fair to him if you come in and outplay guys, but there needs to be like a 2-month thought process instead of a 3-week thought process at camp and exhibition, Struds.
Yeah, well said. And honestly, it's not, hockey's not fair. There's no fair. This is just what we think is best, right? And you communicate that to the player. Hey, listen, we really like your game. And as it goes on here, as NHL players come in, you have to remember his ice time is going to drop down, right? They're not worried about him going. They got to get these other guys going and buzzing. So his ice time will drop down. So his minutes will go, and we'll see less of him. So I would keep him, as long as I can. Keep him right through the end of camp if you want to. Yeah. Say, buddy, listen, you're close. This is what you got to do. Go down and play hard. Same with Savoy. I'd say the same thing, right? And say you're close. I agree. But and these are positive messages, and it's the way you frame it. Not say, oh, you're brutal at this or brutal at that. We love what you're doing. Work on these things. Come back and get going.
he can't play 6 to 7 minutes anywhere right now. He needs to play 13 to 19 minutes somewhere. That's what he needs after taking all that time off. So there's a lot of hype around this player right now, and he's an amazing story, really, truly incredible. And let's just relax and enjoy it and watch. But if this team truly is about developing players properly, I believe 17 minutes a night in the minors is what this player requires right now. We'll see which way it goes. So,
yeah.
Raphael Lavoie, I think if he continues to play with some physicality to his game, if he continues to show that he can kind of get in there, his chances for starting as the extra forward. I know he's hurt right now. He's a little dinged up. I saw him leave the ice yesterday, the lower body or hip or something like that. The thing about Lavoie is he's not killing penalties, and I don't think he's going to kill penalties in this camp, and I don't think they view him as a penalty killer, Struds, and that makes it tough as the extra guy, bottom six guy. You need a role somewhere.
It's really hard to make a team if you're hurt, right? That is really hard, and that is truth. People can say, "Oh, guy shouldn't lose his job because he's injured." You know what? It's not they lose.
What job?
Someone else. Someone.
He was in the middle of trying to earn it.
No, I know, but someone else can come in and take his job or seize that spot. And I've seen it. You cannot make a team when you're not healthy. So I hope for his sake he gets healthy quick. Brownie and I have been pretty constant on this, that the need for him to score is not there. He needs to, the coach said it, skate fast, use his big body. Those are the two things he wants from
I still
him.
think, not that I want to relitigate this argument.
Sure. That's fair.
Clem Costin scored goals from the fourth line, and it was like, whoa, well, that's a major bonus. Like, it's a bonus when you have a fourth line player that can play that way and score too. I'm just saying it's a check mark in the positive.
I'll use your words. The scoring is the bonus. The bonus isn't the physicality and the speed.
Yes, agreed.
So that there's a big difference there. If he scores 20 goals, I'm thrilled for a Raphael Lavoie.
Right.
If he doesn't hit a body, he won't get a chance to get 20 shots. I'll just take inside the mind of a coach. I don't need him to score. I need him to use that big body and hit, and he has a choice. I really think there's a bit of a crossroads for him in this training camp. He has a chance to take a spot, secure NHL employment. If he chooses or is able to do it that way, I would be running everything I can, try to get in the fight, do everything I can to show the coach I'm willing to do it. Shooting one-timers, that's the bonus. They're not going to say, "Oh man, he's got a good one-timer." We've got 20 guys with one-timers.
We don't disagree. We don't disagree, but the way you guys made it sound the other night, you were like, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he scores. Nope. Doesn't matter. I was like, it doesn't. Other guys don't do that the same way.
No. If he wants to play in the NHL, shocker, it doesn't matter if he scores, because that's the bonus. The reality is the hitting. That's the fact, man.
You lost me. You just lost me again.
No, I'm telling you right now, that's the way it is.
We always talk about the need for contributions from the bottom six. It's a given that he's got to be playable and he's got to contribute. But the fact
you got to make the bottom six. You have to make the bottom six to get a chance to score. And if he doesn't play that way, he won't have a chance. He'll have to try to score 20 goals in the HL from the AHL. Pretty hard.
Todd Gack says, if they don't bite as pups, I think maybe suggesting that that's not necessarily Lavoie's default mode, and that can be tough to change in a player. But we'll see, right? If you're desperate enough, Struds, you just laid that out, man. You do anything. And it'll be interesting to see. First of all, I really want to see him healthy. I really want to see Lavoie healthy and able to take a good, clean, healthy run at a roster spot. It'd be so disappointing for him and this player if he was stalled here for any significant amount of time and couldn't really apply himself, because this is the moment. So 100%. It'll be interesting. Yeah, interesting to see what happens there. Emberson. I thought there were some tough moments. I think he got a little bit better. We saw him on the penalty kill a little bit. There were some good things. I felt like he maybe got caught drifting a little bit on the penalty kill, at least once on a really good scoring chance. Didn't seem like he had anybody. Just okay would be my thought on Emberson tonight, but you're the D-man. You tell me.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it was the second or third goal. He gets the puck kind of in the neutral zone, and I felt he was trying to do something before the puck on his stick, and it went up, and then it was 2-on-1 back. And when you're auditioning for this job is being a predictable, steady defenseman, that's a play you got to get it. Just chip it forward, chip it down there, right? And I get he's nervous, he's excited. I get all those things. And then as far as some other play, it was scrambly out there, right? You have a very young team out there. So yeah, I wouldn't say any of the D-men defensively really were showing their best today. Because it was, it's just a scrambly type game when you played. It's an NHL team versus, a good AHL team, probably, where it was, to be honest with you, tonight.
Would you agree that Drake Caggiula is also a player that's like in an absolute scrap to be either the 13th guy or one of the top one or two call-ups, right? He's in that conversation, right?
Oh, yeah, I think he should be. You know what? Coming to camp, I didn't have him in there. But now I think I do, which is a credit to him.
Do you think it would have helped if he would have buried one of those 5 chances he had in front of the net, or that doesn't matter? He had about 3 on the one shift, and then he had another one late. Like, don't you think it matters if a guy buries those?
What's his role in the team going to be?
Well, bury those when you get them, but be a good, solid fourth-line player that, doesn't get scored against.
I think Drake is limited a little bit by his size. What the coach said the other day, we want big bodies that can skate and hit. And I don't see that from Drake. Doesn't mean he can't make the team or be on the team at some point this year. But, I don't want to downplay the goal scoring, but it's clear what they're looking for in their bottom 6. Fast, big guys that he can hit. And I don't see that in Drake or right now so far, Raphael Lebois.
All right, let's get to our UCAN Youth Services Relentless Player of the Night. If you are looking for laborers for your business, UCAN Youth Services can help. They train 18 to 25-year-olds, getting them ready, willing, and able to join the workforce. Check out their Road to Work program at www.ucan.ca. Struds, I feel like it's probably going to be someone in a Jets jersey. Am I right?
You know what? And one of my favorite players in the league, Adam Lowry. And I believe he scored. I
knew it.
Was it the last goal or the second last goal? They kind of blended
6-0 goal. Wrap around.
Penalty kill. And I think he kind of fell into this one. If you didn't see the game, he was the puck went on to Delia, and Adam Lowry just kind of skated at him. And I think Delia maybe panicked a little bit, shot it right into his knee pads, carried behind the net. Lowry went with the puck, turned around and wrapped around the other side. But I like Adam Lowry. Like, is there a better third line center in the NHL? I don't know. I don't know if there is.
Yeah, he's a heck of a good player, heck of a good leader, tough, big, strong, does it the right way. How much would you love to have that guy as your 3C in a playoff series?
You imagine playing against that guy night in, night out. It's not fun. He can score a bit, right? Not known as the goal scorer, but he can score. He's hard. He wins battles. He kills penalties. Like, I'm a huge fan of his. So it's a biased pick. I'm not going to lie, but congrats, Adam Lowry, your first Relentless player of your career.
That is the first one of his career, hey?
Yeah, big moment.
Let the Jets know. Yeah, let the Jets know so they can let Adam know about this big honor. Okay, before we wrap up this segment, let's get to our YouTube poll because it's going to be a topic of discussion in our next segment in Takeaways. Brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitness Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Go down and check out their pro shop style atmosphere at 5311 99th Street. I did a fitting this year, guys, where you go in and you actually hit a bunch of different irons. They figure out what shafts you need, which kind of irons you need. I ended up with Strixon after hitting everything, but Scotty and the guys took great care of me. You ever been fitted for clubs, Struds?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's a nice feeling. Yeah, it's like beautiful. Cinderella find a slipper.
Oh. Yeah, they take you in there, they take care of you, they bring you a glass of water, they focus on your swing. It's all about you. Right. It's a good time. Steve, what do we got for a poll tonight on Bouch?
All right, so the question is, how many points will Evan Bouchard get this season? The 4 options are less than 60, 60 to 70, 71 to 80, or 81 plus. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty even right now, except for the less than 60. So, some pretty optimistic Oilers fans.
Struds, but when we come back, Struds, we'll get your prediction.
Love it.
Steve, you want to give one right now? What do you think, buddy? You follow the team as close as anyone.
Oh, man. I'm going to optimistically say between 70 and 80.
Okay. So you think he's going to play a little more D? A little more D this year? Points slide back a little maybe?
Yep. Let's spread them around.
Necessarily be a terrible thing. All right, we'll get into that discussion and more coming up in takeaways. But that was the breakdown brought to you, Alberta Ram Dealers. Quick break. Stay with us. You're listening to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
All right, time now for takeaways, brought to you by our great friends over at Martin Motorsports. Fall is here, and it's a great time to get outdoors and ready for your next ride, whether it's a quad to take on the trails, a skidoo for your next mountain adventure, or pre-order your boat for next summer. Now's a great time to be shopping with end-of-season savings, the best pricing on pre-orders for 2025 models. Check out Martin Motorsports, Edmonton, Calgary, Kelowna, Saskatoon, or online at martinmotorsports.ca. There's that picture.
That might be my Christmas card this year.
Definitely. You're getting a framed photo of that for Christmas, Struds, for your background here on the show, for your set.
I love it.
Place the Bo Jackson. Get us in there. Okie dokie. So we were chatting with Matthias Ekholm today, and I wanted to ask him about his perspective on Evan Bouchard's overall game. You know, when Ekholm got here, you will recall, like, Bouchard wasn't necessarily, you know, at the peak of his game, and Matthias Ekholm came in, certainly helped stabilize things, but Evan Bouchard's game has grown exponentially since that time. And I wanted to get Ekholm's perspective as we get back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here on the defensive nature of Bouchard's game, because I will submit to you, it hit a whole new level in the playoffs. And if that's where Bouchard's starting from this year, boy, oh boy, here's Ekholm.
At first, when I got here, he was just still trying to find his way offensively. Now he's so confident and comfortable with his offense that he can just start to flip that thinking and, okay, I can play defense too, because it's just to flip the script, really. And he's got naturally good reads, good brain out there. IQ is really good, and I think he's realized that if he wants to be that number one guy that plays 28 minutes a night, you're going to have to play some defense as well. You can't just outscore your opponent every night. So I think that's been a realization within him, and I give him full credit for it. And I think us as a D pair has kind of found a way to play defense in an efficient way to make sure, because usually we're out there against some quality competition. So you're going to have to play some defense, and I think he's done a tremendous job of just finding his spots, when to go, when to not, and he's really good with breaking out the puck and reading plays. So,
Struds, when the games got the most difficult, the most intense, the most meaningful, Bouchard out in the last minute of games or key moments in defensive situations, killing penalties, like he was doing things that a year and a half ago we would not have anticipated from Evan Bouchard. What would your perspective be on what Ekholm was just saying?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, the skill is the hardest thing to acquire, right? It takes the most work to get that skill, but learning to defend is really an awareness and desire. Those two things, and then hard work, obviously, to be a good defender. And Evan has improved a ton. There's no doubt about it. He's improved so much. And so it makes him a real dangerous pairing. And then now you get him beside Ekholm, who's a really good defender, has some offensive upside, and who's also smart. You have a really smart, dangerous, one of the top pairings in the league, right? That's what the Oilers have there. That's the luxury they have.
So do you think that Evan Bouchard is now in a place, from what you saw in the playoffs, where you could drop him next to somebody other than Ekholm and his overall quality, like, let's say his quality is 100 when he plays next to Matthias Ekholm, right? That Ekholm, and they just work great together. So the number is 100. Drop next to somebody else that isn't Matthias Ekholm. I feel like Bouchard has it in him to keep that number way higher than maybe he did before, that his game has grown and matured so that it's about as much about his game as it is about who's next to him. Am I overestimating that?
I think I would like to see that happen. It's been something I'm thinking about because what happens is that, and I got to be careful to use my words, but for some time when Matthias Ekholm came, Ekholm was kind of carrying Bouchard, right? As far as teaching him how to, not teaching him, but just supporting him, being in the right place. And that's kind of the natural evolution, right? Now, Bouchard is no longer who he was 2-3 years ago. He has a more complete game. So it is now maybe his job to learn how to, to think about not just himself, but now about his partner and how you can make your partner better, like Ekholm did for him. And I think that would maybe take Bouchard's game up to another level as well. So I don't know if they'll start like that, but I think it'd be a good challenge for Bouchard to play with someone else, to then think, I have to not just worry about me, I got to worry about us being the double pairing, and that would spur on some more growth for him, in his career.
I think that's a fantastic point that you just made. Like it's at a certain point for these great defensemen, it does become about, it's not just about me, it's about supporting the other guy and being someone who can get more out of the other guy and help the other guy and adjust your game in small ways to be conscientious about the other guy. So with that in mind, and I will say Quaddy is the one that I was thinking it, but Quaddy voiced it here on the stream, play Bouch with Nurse at times this year. The results have not been great, and they've tried it multiple times over the years. Do you think with Bouchard's game where it is, that could potentially be a better fit, allowing Matthias Ekholm to be the stabilizing force for one of the other defensemen who maybe isn't a top 4 guy?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely an option. Another option I had thought about, again, just, as I was out there living my life, do you put Kulak with Bouchard? And then say to Nurse and Ekholm, you guys have to be the stabilizers for others, right? And Kulak, I know he's not exactly a young defenseman, but that can kind of be your quasi top pairing. Then you have the other 2 guys kind of anchoring their pairings and kind of spreading it out a little bit. So that was one I kind of thought about, and I didn't hate the idea of putting those 2 together. You
didn't hate your own idea?
No, well,
I thought about it and then didn't hate my idea.
Well, no, there are some I get the Nurse. I don't really like Nurse and Bouchard together. I don't know why. So maybe that's where I'm going. If she's going to play with someone else, it has to be Kulak, right? There's 3 left defensemen.
But here's the thing, though. Do you think that Brett Kulak can handle the minutes that if Evan Bouchard is at his peak, you're going to want to give him? If Bouchard's at his peak, man, playing fantastic, that's 24 minutes a night, is it not?
Well, you got to. Are you including power play time?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're looking at 18 to 20, 5-on-5, right? Because I don't think in the regular season. Well, I don't think you'll see a lot of. Well, maybe D-men playing 24 minutes of even strength time. That's a lot of even strength time for one pairing. It could happen. That feels more like a playoff type of thing. So I think 5-on-5.
I'm just saying, is Kulak the right guy at even strength to be on? If you want Bouchard to be a top pairing defenseman, which I think he has potential to be this year, is Kulak the right guy to have there to do that with him?
Well, I mean,
that's all.
No, I understand. I think Kulak is really suited where he's at, and I think he can moonlight in that second pairing. So now I'm pushing him up quite a ways. I get that, but the Oilers, depending on how it all sorts out on their right side, they have one true right shot defenseman who's an NHL defenseman right now that I can see that I can pencil in for sure. Not pencil in, right in ink. So the other groups that are, and not that they aren't NHL defensemen. Are they top 4? Are they top 6? Top 2? Probably not. So I was thinking we may see more mixing and matching, or they might just keep Bouchard and Ekholm together, and everyone else has to figure out behind them. We'll know, and let's talk about this or revisit this after Game 10.
Yeah. Have to shout out to Phyllis, who just chimed in for the first time. Says, hello, everybody. I just found this place. I have just liked the show and subscribed. So Phyllis, welcome. Welcome to Got Your Back. Where are you from? Tell us a little more about yourself. There she is. Nice job, Steve. Oh, Steve's all over it, bringing in Phyllis's comments. Looks like maybe Winnipeg. Is that a Bombers? Is that a Bombers player I see her with there?
I don't know. He's a big human though. Looks like a tall guy.
A big dude. Phyllis, welcome to Got Your Back. Tell your friends. Bring a few more people with you. We would appreciate that. Struds, let's get your prediction on the poll. Steve, run Struds through the options one more. Actually, Struds, just how many points do you think Bouchard will get this year?
Yeah, no, I have the options. I'm going to go with C. I have it 71 to 80. I believe the Oilers are going to try to, or should try to, reduce the wear and tear on their big guys and cut down power play time for them and ice time in general. So they're more fresh towards the end of the year. Yeah, you heard it here.
Why power play time? That's the least taxing time to play.
Because you got to get other guys' beaks wet. I got to get my beak wet. And so Skinner, Arvidsson, how do they get their beak wet?
You say this at the start of every year that they're going to be run a second unit, and you say the beak wet thing at the start of every season.
When they listen, they'll be ready. The student will become the teacher.
They'll be ready to take the next step. Game 7 of the Cup final.
Guys, I'm not wrong.
That's what they missed in Game 7 of the Cup final was a second power play unit. That would have been the difference.
No, so this is it. It's that I'm trying to keep other guys involved, but also I'm trying to bring down the minutes for the top guys. I really think that's something that, and I don't want to relive Game 7. They looked bad. Now everyone looked tired. And what happens if you take a little bit of wear and tear? That is the purpose of it. Twofold. You're welcome, Chris Knobloch.
There you go. We're going to remember that. PP1 will be reduced from a minute 30 to a minute 20, says Penner's.
I'll take anything. At this point, I'd take anything.
Whatever. By the way, if
the Oilers are winning 3-1, 4-1 with 10 minutes left, don't put them out. Start the second unit. Yeah.
I still think we could see a little Arvidsson action on the tail end of the top units time. I'm just mentioning it as a possibility. Yeah. So if it ever happens, I'm going to scream victory like you've never heard before. One other housekeeping item, Struds. You and Brownie were both tough on Chris Knobloch after the last game, and I was too, because Leon Draisaitl wasn't playing with his new wingers yet. They've been practicing together, but they haven't played a game together yet. And we all thought if they only play 2 exhibition games, maybe 3, they're not going to have enough time together. I asked Knobloch about that today. And he suggested they could play as many as 4 games. So that line could see 2 to 3 games together. Yeah. I've got it right here. Here, I'll listen. I'll let you listen to it. One sec. Where is it? Here it is. Chris Knobloch.
They probably 2 or 3 together as a group. I know most of our guys that are on our team, we've kind of made it that they're playing 4 games. And bulk of them more at the end of the preseason. So I think McDavid, Draisaitl, Ekholm, those guys are all playing about 4 games.
Too many?
4 games. So they're going to play 3 the next 4.
How many are left?
Right? There's 4 games left, are there not? Because they've all played 1.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So 3 of the next 4.
That's too many.
That feels like a lot.
I feel like I'm going after Chris Knobloch here today, and I actually really like him. No, I'm just kidding. But I think 2 is plenty. Like I would go 2 NHL lines, 2 NHL lines. And then my last game, and then probably see who needs the extra one, the third game, then the 4th one, I'm playing my team. Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
So that could be 3, I guess. Yeah. Anyways,
that was Takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Heard a lot about this Macho Man impression before the show, Struddy. You want to, as we go to break, you want to give us a little
because
macho man, little macho.
What is that? Oh, jeez! Just so you guys know where this came from, he gave us the yogi. What's his name? Yoda. Live long and prosper, whatever you said.
Steve said, we're going to try and get us up live. And I said, there is no try, which I think is not a bad Yoda.
Well, that was a good one.
That was good. That was good that time. Yeah.
It was a fail. So all of a sudden you've been practicing the whole time. No, that was good. What is it? Like, what's the other thing? Is it live long and prosper? Is that what he says too? Or what does he say?
That's Spock. You absolute donkey.
Spock? What's his name?
Spock. That is Spock.
Spock.
I have had enough of this.
To break, we shall go.
We'll be right back.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
The reviews are in. People thought my Yoda was fantastic on the stream, Struddy. We're getting great comments. They were impressed. So the pressure's on, buddy. Bring on the Macho Man at some point tonight when you get a chance. Time now for Brownie Points. Without Rob Brown, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Their world-famous jerky located right here in Alberta using prime Alberta beef. It's available in 14 tantalizing flavors, including the Interstellar Sweet and Spicy that went to the International Space Station. Family owned and operated since 1962. Great game day snack. Can be shipped to you anywhere in Alberta. Only one naysayer who felt it was more like Kermit the Frog than Yoda, which probably fair, from Northern Farm Girl. Panner's Pancake says that was pretty good. Live long and prosper from Axe Gaming. Jody Cerner says never do that again. Okay, the reviews are mixed, but not terrible, Struds.
Way better. The one before was not good at all. That was good. I was like, oh man, is Yoda in Yoga? What's his name? Yoga?
Yeah, it's Yoda. Okay, brownie points. So Brownie actually wrote in a few brownie points, Struds, but you and I are going to supplement a little bit here. So brownie points. 2 for Connor Brown. Took him 55 games for the rust to come off last year. Took him 2 preseason games to score this year. So a couple brownie points for Connor Brown. 20 for Matty Savoy. Pretty quiet for the first 8 periods of preseason, but showed flashes of his ability in the final 20 minutes tonight. So for that, Matty Savoy gets 20 brownie points. And also says here, minus 225 brownie points to Struds for being afraid to do his Macho Man Randy Savage impersonation. So you're in the hole big time, bud. That was right from Brownie.
Oh, promise. All right, well, I got one here, and I got this one. Actually, I was thinking about it when I saw some of your colleagues on Insider Trading, and I think it was Pierre Lebrun talking about Igor Shesterkin and how they're going to try to find a number that works, and he wants to quote unquote reset the goalie market. So I'm giving him 10 million and counting brownie points. as that sounds like that's the floor of that contract, working its way up to 11, 12, dare I say, higher. And I know somewhere Jamie McLennan said, he's worth it. He's worth it. Goalies are underpaid. Like, I think about the third line slug getting $5 million. Like, if I hear that one more time from Noodles, I'm going to lose it. But so 10 million and counting brownie points for our band Igor Shesterkin of the Rangers.
It was not a great Jamie McLennan impersonation.
Well, I wasn't trying to, was I?
No, you're just paraphrasing him. Well, I don't know. You kind of changed your voice like you were trying to be Jamie McLennan.
He yells like that. He yells. He's a yeller.
One other brownie point I'm going to add to the list. I'm going to give one big, fat, congratulatory brownie point to our head pro out at Belvedere, Alex Bunner. Aced the 5th hole today.
Oh, buns.
Number 5 today was set up at 223 yards into the fan. So wow. Alex has 6. This is 6th hole in one in his life. 223 into the fan. I think he said it was a 5-iron that he hit and jarred it. Little 5-iron draw. So we're super lucky at Belvedere to have a pro like Alex, because he's competitive. He's an unreal golfer, and he actually competes provincially. So he's a great guy. Loves the pod, by the way. Hell of a golfer. So big fat brownie point to Alex Bunner for his 6th hole in one, but 223 into the fan, Struds.
Old tight buns. There's no way that was a 5-iron. Like, don't be a hero. Like, just, we all know it was
let me make sure.
It's probably a 3-wood.
What does he say?
Probably a 3-wood or something like that.
No, hit a cut 5-iron is what he said. A cut 5-iron.
Buddy, I've said a lot of things too that no one could prove otherwise. So let's not start taking old tight buns answer here as it was an 8-iron, a choked down 8-iron into 250 into the wind.
All right, that was brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. And with that, we hand the stage over to Struddy for Struddy's World. Roll the intro.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
God, I look good.
All right, time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. If you need a little extra space for the in-laws, Timber House Garden Suites, absolutely perfect for keeping them close, but not too close, right? The designs are unique, anything but cookie cutter, and the experience of building with Timber House is second to none. They'll treat you like family, build you a great house or garden suite. They take great care of you for years to come afterwards. Visit timberhouse.ca. Struddy, we are fans of the Timber House designs. That would be, to do that for your parents, that would be the ultimate gift. Timber House.
Very generous. Yeah, I look at their website. Take a look at their website. It's absolutely beautiful. I think it's amazing. So really, really nice. And their houses on there incredible. Okay, so, I was thinking about Raphael Lavoie and just people trying to make a team. And I'm going to share a story that when I made my first team in Vancouver, I kind of felt like I had a chance. But I remember working out with Todd Simpson. Now, Todd would become the captain of the Flames and played many games in the NHL. And he just said to me, when you're going into that training camp, leave no room for doubt that you are the guy. So you do everything full tilt, everything your hardest, the workouts, the practices, play the games like every game is game 7 and do exactly what you need to do. And he said, well, what do you think you need to do? I'm like, be physical. He's like, fight. You've got to fight so everyone knows that you are there to compete. So I took his advice to heart. I think that year, I had 6 or 7 fights in exhibition games. I was fighting everybody, and I battled. I competed every time. I was, we'd do bag skates with Mike Keenan. I was going as hard as I could. I'd come out every day just bagged and beat up because I wasn't that good of a fighter when I was younger. But it worked. I made it. I made the NHL club. So I'm not suggesting Raphael Lavoie or anyone else go out and fight. But there's a way of getting a roster spot on this team that to me is so clear. The clearest you can see. Be fast, be physical, and be engaged every time you hit the ice. And if you do that, you could get an NHL job. If you don't, you leave it to chance. And I I couldn't understand just leaving something chance when the opportunity is clearly there. So again, I'm not asking these guys to go and fight Chaga because the game's not really like that anymore. But there is a path to it. It can also be as simple as driving the net every time you can, stepping in front of the goalie, working rebounds in. If you score, great. But they're looking for all those other things. And the goal is a byproduct of doing all those things from, in this case, what would be the fourth line.
Yeah. There have been many players who have come into the league as high skill players and who had to change their game to prolong their career, right? We've seen guys do it. Like Cogliano was a first round pick and had to make some adjustments to his game, accept he wasn't going to be a top 6 forward, learn some other areas of the game so that he could prolong his career. That is a familiar storyline, Struds. Dan Cleary, right? A guy changing the way he plays to prolong his career.
Prolong,
but it feels
or get
like
a career.
Well, but that's the point I was about to make, is that we've seen guys do it that are in the league already to prolong their career. Do you think it's harder for a guy who's been that player his whole life, an offensive player, a guy who's counted on for that, and even Lavoie in the American League is an offensive player, to make that switch to get there? You'd think there would be more willingness. You'd think there would be more kind of understanding and that it absolutely has to happen. But it feels more rare for guys to do that in the position Lavoie is in.
It can be. And you can have a great hockey career by not playing the NHL. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if your goal is to continue to score and be an offensive player, and that's what you enjoy your life, man. I'm not here to tell you to change the way you
That's
live your
what
life.
nobody wants, though. You know that nobody wants that. He wants to be in the NHL. So
I know, but it's not just him. It's other players. You have to make that choice then. You have to make that conscious choice to do that. And then once you're in the NHL, you can work your way up the lines. That's the great thing about it, because they're like, oh man, this guy's working so hard. He's being physical. Let's give him a look on this line. And now you're on that line, you're like, man, this guy's working so hard. Let's look on this line. Let's reward him. Or there's an injury one game and you go in there, you do pot 2 goals. You're like, man, maybe this guy can score 2 goals, but you can't do that from the AHL. And so I'll just keep ringing this bell. You got to make the NHL. So even look at Ty Emberson, and I made a comment about his game today. I would be making sure that I was solid defensively, as much as possible in the right place, and supporting my partner for breakouts and getting some hits. That'd be very, very simple. Don't worry about putting up points. Don't even worry about that. Now, just show that you can be good defensively, and then you can start branching out from there. But you got to start with what they're looking for. And what they're looking for is someone to replace or someone to take a spot in that 2C position or 2 right D position.
Man, it would be big for the Oilers if Lavoie could take that step and turn that corner and figure that out and become that player for them. They've invested a lot into this player. He's been in the organization for a long time. He's kind of at that inflection point where if it doesn't happen this year, you got to wonder what the future will look like. So, yeah, great point made tonight on Struddy's World, courtesy our friends over at Timberhouse. All right. Steve, why don't you hop on in here, my friend, because it is time for Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies, founded in 1976. They're a full-line distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated here in Edmonton. Local company. We love the local companies here on the pod. Visit bjelectric.ca. Steve, in the big box, the big mailbox here. Have we seen this with you or not before?
This is the first time. Shona and Randine have been texting me all summer saying we need you bigger on the screen.
Are you just suggesting that our wives are in regular text contact with you? Is that what you just suggested on this show?
Well, she's the head of HR. And Shona and I have been friends since Struddy played for the team.
He just got a little sheepish there. It's okay.
Got awkward. Just back up your statement, man. Don't back foot.
Nothing awkward about it. We're good friends. It's a group chat.
Is there another guitar on the wall? Was there only one last year? I see 2 now.
No, there's 2, and neither of them have moved a millimeter since last season. So.
Okay.
Oh boy!
If you're going to keep repping guitars on the wall, we're going to have to ask you to play at some point. You're repping like you can play those things.
Just the level of detail now you get is just fantastic. Yeah,
bring it, buddy. What are people saying?
Okay, let's see if I can add this into the thing. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so Carmen
Nice.
Gill, sort of. I like Emberson, and he is a number 5 right now. He will be a number 4 eventually, but we need a defender. We can't expect someone this young to take the mantle right away. Strud's thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that there's wide open. 5 and 6 are wide open. You know, I think it's clear who the top 4 are, although I think Kulak will play in the 3rd spot, but your top 4D are clear. And after that, it's open. And I think he has the inside spot for that, for sure. You know, I think Brown's outside of there, and it's probably Stetcher. Like by default, that's kind of where we're all placing in, right? And I wonder if Schauger, if Lavoie doesn't make the team, do they make a similar trade like they made with Clean Costin? Trade for 2 kind of guys that are maybe trying to find themselves. And I was just thinking about that. I'm not sure. But anyways, back to, and that might be a D-man, by the way.
Yep.
But anyways, I think he is probably their 5. But you know, you just want to, you don't want to earn it, right? You don't want to, I'm not suggesting he is, but don't back into it.
But the problem, Struds, is he's not their 5. He is not their 5. He is a 5, maybe, probably a 6, but he's the Oilers' 4, which is the problem. And I wouldn't be letting that ride for too long. Is that's the sense of urgency that I have that you guys don't necessarily share. So let's give him some breathing room, give him some time, let him settle in here, get him next to Nurse, let the competition pick up. He played some good minutes last year. He showed he could play in the league. I'm all for the idea of letting it breathe and giving him a chance. But if the end of October and early November hits and it's not looking great, I'm not waiting too long with this group for such an important position.
All right, moving on. So Penner's Pancake says, so Lavoie and Peterson need waivers. Hamlin does not. Will that come into play? Although with all the waivers coming, they probably won't be picked up. But thoughts on whether waivers will actually be a factor.
Your timing has to be good. There'll be that day where everybody tries to slide somebody through. Did Lavoie not clear waivers last year? Did he not come up and get sent? Like, I think he required waivers last year and cleared. Did he not? Was that not a thing that am I crazy? I can even search it real quick here, but there'll be a day where everybody is sneaking guys through. And I think that you'll see if he has to go down, that would be when they do it. I'm not sure how much of a risk he is to get picked up.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that
October 9th, 2023, Lavoie clears waivers. Yeah, he had to go down. I remember that now. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you though, Sugar. I'm not sure that there's a massive risk there, but maybe.
All right. Obelisk says, I like Philp as well, but he really struggled on the face-offs tonight. That could possibly keep him out of the lineup in favor of Ryan. What do you guys think?
My narrative on Philp stays the same. Like, he's had a couple of really good nights, and good face-off guys can still have bad nights in the face-off circle. So I'm not going to – I think his overall body of work, I mean, took 11 draws, 1 for him. So not great tonight, 36%.
More NHL
but he's had
guys,
some good nights in the draw. What's that, Streds?
More NHL guys, Scheifele and Lowry, right? So there's more NHL. Like the first night, I think he was
Great
9-3.
point by you.
9-3, it was AHL in college, right? So he tore them apart. So there's an adjustment, for them to learn, because Adam Lowry's a big, strong guy. Scheifele's a good centerman.
There is a conversation to be had here, and we're going to let the next few games happen, but we do need to see where Derek Ryan's game is at, right? I mean, Ryan, he's an older player, and let's see what he's got in the tank. He has shown at times to be incredibly useful. The coaches trust him. They like him. He plays, reliable minutes when he's playing well. To me, it's all in the feet for him. How's he moving? When his game is up to speed, he can contribute better as a winger than a fourth-line center, and currently sets up to be the fourth-line center on this team, Struds, but he hasn't played a ton of center here in camp. So Derek Ryan, as camp goes on, is going to be a player that I think we'll pay a little bit closer attention to get a feel for exactly where he's at. Fair?
Yeah, we know what he is. He's a really smart player, right? A smart veteran player with skill, and he's reliable. Like I don't think there's any question he'll be on the team. More than likely, probably he'll moonlight as a center, I'm guessing, and kind of help out when he needs to. But we know what he is. I'm not worried about Derek Ryan at all.
Do you think he's a fourth line center, though, Struds? I guess, what is he? You say we know what he is. What is he? Are you playing him at center?
He can play. I said moonlight, but I think he's a winger. I think he moonlights.
So then you think he's going to be in and out of the lineup? You know, maybe him and Perry flip-flopping in and out of the lineup with someone else playing 4C more regularly?
Yeah, I mean, because what's his name? Who else played there? Some center.
Hamblin?
No, not Hamblin.
Like Peterson?
No, on the third line. Janmark. Janmark's played some center too, right?
Yeah, so maybe a little bit here and there, yeah.
Maybe let's see how the pieces fit together, but yeah, I think that he might be in and out, you know, and but they might also be up against it. So I don't know. I think that ultimately becomes a bit of a winger. I don't think Perry plays every night this year, right? He's getting older. So there's opportunity in there for guys to move around a bit.
All right, Steve, couple more, buddy, and then we'll shut her down.
Yeah. So Ro Nelson says, Lavoie has an edge and a mean streak. I watched his Gordie Howe hat trick and his PK. He should kill penalties. He's 6'4" with high IQ, has more ceiling with higher bottom than a lot of others. There's thoughts on him sort of taking over maybe Desharnais' spot on that PK. Struds.
You mean Raphael Lavoie?
Sorry.
Lavoie?
Sorry.
All good, buddy. You said Desharnais' spot on the penalty kill. But bottom line, no worries, Steve. Bottom line for Lavoie to be a bottom six forward, he would do himself a massive favor if he could somehow get some penalty kill time, Struds. Bottom line, like you have to have that role.
You need a role because that gets you more minutes, and more minutes gets you more into the game. And then if you play well, we got to find this guy more minutes instead of the other way. Usually when you're going down, you don't try to find any more minutes. You just go out of the lineup. Like that's kind of how it works.
I don't think he killed much in the minors. I don't think he killed much there.
Yeah, no, and I my path for him to the NHL is clear. And I think I've said it. The coach has said it. Yeah. So now he's just got to do it. He's got to show it consistently, right? Hit everything get moves.
Steve, you got any more?
Yeah, in the last episode, Paulie asked a question, and Zuby actually promised that he'd get to it in the next episode, and he texted it to me tonight to read.
All right, let's do it.
So last episode, Paulie said, what do you believe is the team's biggest challenge heading into the season, and how do you think they will, and how do they plan to address it? How do you think they'll plan to address it?
Well, I think it's clear. You know, they need a partner for Darnell Nurse. So whether that's internally or they have to go and find it out, that to me is the hole. That is the hole to sort out.
Okay. In the spirit of Paulie's question, though, Struds, because we've talked that part to death, let's push past that and say, what is next? What do you believe is next past that, past the right shot defenseman that we all know they need? Pretty complete roster, right?
Yeah, I think people that play with an edge in their game. They lost Desharnais, they've lost Kane. You know, CC, I don't want to make him out to be what he was, but he competed. He wasn't a real hitter. You know, Darnell, where's his physicality going to be at? So I think they've lost a lot of edge. Dylan Holloway would hit. Edgy players. Who are they in their top 9? Who is it?
Well, you're asking who is it in their top 9? Yeah, well, edge. I mean, yeah, let's rip through them. Nuge, no, McDavid, whatever, plays tough. But Hyman, you basically, Podkolzin kind of, I mean, he can fight.
Yeah, Podkolzin.
Seen that. Yeah. You know, Corey Perry can play that way. Brown, Henrique, and Janmark. Janmark can when he needs to. Like, Janmark showed us he can, but it's not his default game mode. Evander Kane is not available to them. So, yeah, I mean, I think your point is well taken. They don't have some natural snarl in the lineup. They don't have someone that you know is going to bring lots of physical energy every night he goes out there and plays. So I think that's a fair one. I'm just really interested to see how they start. It was a long season. It was a big letdown. It was a short off season. We all know how poor the start was last year. I'm just really interested to see if they handle their business better when adversity strikes this year than they did last year. So that'll be interesting to see. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. Great job, Steve. Appreciate that. Let's get to our Gallery Dental play of the day. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience and see how the team at Gallery Dental has your comfort and well-being as their top priorities, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG, Strudwick.com. No brainer for me, Struds, but I'm going to let you pick. I assume you will nail this one.
Well, I was going to go with Savoy in the third period. Is that what you're going with?
I was going with my Yoda impersonation. Like how?
Well, no, how many chances do you get at it? How many kicks of the can do you get at this?
Well, I'm not doing it again, but I'm just saying the play of the day is what was most impressive of the night. And you pick a random scoring chance from a guy when
a random one
crushed a Yoda impersonation live on the air.
Savoy had to beat 3 players to get a backhand that hit the crossbar. That was a hell of a play, man. And sorry, your first Yoda, the one that we heard, Steve and I heard, was weak. So you only get so many chances at it.
Let's hear this Macho Man.
You got to be surprised. You can't this organ needs a lot of warming up to get it right. And I don't want to muck mine up like you did just before the pod. What was yours again? Speak no evil, say no evil.
Done.
Clip that. This organ needs a lot of warming up. Jason Strudwick.
It's true.
September 25th, 2024.
It's true.
Good job tonight, Struds. Thanks, my friend.
Likewise. Good times, guys.
Steve, bonus brownie points for you, buddy. I know this new system is not easy, and you did a fantastic job tonight, buddy. Great work.
Yeah, we got through it. Right on. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream, on the podcast, for all your comments. Thanks to all of our sponsors as well. We will drop another pod probably Friday. Got to chat with the fellas here. But this has been Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. Have a great one, folks.